Hello everyone, this is Karl from Razmofsar Team Malta, and in this video we will go over how I built this imitation Native American gunstock war club. Before we start, I need to say something that should hopefully be obvious. Even if this is an imitation, it is still a beast of a weapon and can kill or seriously injure someone. It is not for practice with another person. With that out of the way, let's get started. A Native American gunstock war club would normally be made with a young tree that has a natural bend to it, as this would have the grain running all the way through it. It makes the club structurally stronger. I didn't have one of those, so I made this laminated block of reclaimed wood in 3 layers, which should be strong enough to take a beating. I used 3 layers so that the blade would be fully seated inside one of the layers rather than straddling a joint, as that would very likely cause the lamination on impact. After roughing out the profile of the club with a saw, I laid out the socket for the blade and drilled some holes to hog out most of the waste before cleaning it out with a chisel. Since none of my drill bits were long enough to go all the way through, I had to go at it from both sides. This left an unnecessary hole in the front of the club, but I would deal with this later. When the socket was done, I started to shape the edges and handle with a plane, a spoke shave and a file. Once the club was mostly shaped, I glued a plug into the hole at the front of the club, making sure it didn't interfere with the tang of the blade. I then cut it flush and smoothed over the area. The club was almost ready, so I started to add some decoration. I did not want to use any symbols I don't understand, as I find that very disrespectful, but as far as I could tell, this kind of triangular pattern is purely decorative. I simply carved these using my knife. After giving the club another sanding, I sprayed it with a few coats of paint and sealer. Then I picked out the decorations in white acrylic paint. Next, I hammered some tacks on the striking edge, top and back of the club. These serve both as decoration and as a light reinforcement. I like the look of them, so I also did a circle pattern on the sides. To attach the blade, I wrapped the area around the socket in painter's tape and poured in enough 2-part epoxy to fill it up around halfway. Then I put the blade in and made sure it was seated properly. This is a Hudson Bay Company pontoon blade. Even if it looks pretty large for this kind of weapon, that's actually almost par for course. In some cases you find bowie knife blades, kitchen knives and pretty much any large sharp object you could expect to see there. I gave the epoxy enough time to set, then trimmed the excess and removed the tape. With the blade securely in place, all that was left was to add some leather for the grip and 2 crow feathers to finish it all off. And that is one imitation Native American gunstock war club. As I was building this, I started to really appreciate the engineering of the weapon. The tilt of the main striking face makes it work a bit like an axe or a hammer in terms of force delivery, while the position of the blade puts a lot of weight behind it. I also appreciate the craftsmanship of the traditional pieces. This one is very crude in comparison to some examples, and those were made with little or no access to metal tools. Finally, I also started to realize just how much overkill it packs. I am fairly sure this could injure someone in armor. It is quite different from other weapons I am used to, and even if I am not quite sure how to use it, I can tell it is both devastating and terrifying. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to this channel. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave a comment below. Thank you for watching and have a great day.